Cutter's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter W. Welcome you to another Degrassi Unpopular Opinion and Hot Takes. So basically, this is kind of a 2-for-1, if you will. Recently, I basically found a post about someone complaining about Degrassi Goes Hollywood. Basically saying that, they hated Degrassi Goes Hollywood because in a lot of ways it just sucked. Degrassi Goes Hollywood was uninteresting. Paige's story arc sucked. Manny competing for the same role as her was weird, and then the song at the end where Manny is singing instead of performing on the bus was the worst. Basically, Craig shouldn't be friends with Pete Wentz. This is what this person put. And for context, it's being taped on June 15th, 2021. So anyway, it also gets me thinking about Degrassi Goes Manhattan, and it's like it's a decent story for those students from the next wave, like the Holly J wave, to deal with New York and all that. At the end of season 9, was it? Yeah, at the end of season 9, and of course that was when Emma and Spinner get married and all that. So basically, the post I'm doing off of is the Degrassi Goes Hollywood thing. People said, I hated seeing Paige fail. She was a good student. She had that mental breakdown. And then she basically ended up as being just some Hollywood assistant suck. And all that. She should have been more successful and all that. Yeah, so basically, yeah, Craig and Ellie and all that. So basically, in this, in the two stories, if memory serves me right, and all that, here's what happens. In Degrassi Goes Hollywood, we basically get some kind of story resolution with Manny, because Manny's still an actress. She dates some guy named Nick, and basically he uses her for his own gain, and basically draws Manny away from her acting gig, and basically Manny doesn't get her acting job, and basically Mick used her, and Manny's upset and bombs her audition, but she gets another chance. So basically, she doesn't get a chance to get the audition. Meanwhile, Paige is in Hollywood dealing with a reality star and basically being her gopher, her personal assistant, if you will. And so basically, Paige is basically told by the reality star to put her name in the mix for what Manny's role was. Manny's role as Trixie. Basically, Paige is told to tell the directors about her, not Paige, but the reality star. So basically, Paige, the assistant, no, the reality star loses something, and Paige basically is told to go back and pick it up. And Paige decides to audition for Trixie just for the heck of it, and basically ends up winning the part and pissing off her boss. And so Manny was upset that Paige got the role, and so basically she commandeers Emma, Jay, and the Steads, Peter, Danny, and Derek, to head to Hollywood so that she can get her spot back. In the meantime, Paige becomes snooty and basically a diva, basically trying to make it out on her own. Because she got the role, she thinks she should act the role. Unfortunately, Paige's problems subsided. And basically she gets kicked off the thing. And that's when Manny realizes that the role is up for her and she can swipe it from under Paige's nose. Paige is upset because Paige thought that she had to be a diva to get into Hollywood and all that. And then it's found out about Paige's past. She ends up being a dog walker and all that. And then how did she get in? All that. Paige, basically, it was a character assassination. And then, Craig and Ellie, Ellie was so much in love with Craig, and then Craig had a girlfriend, and Ellie decides to try to walk into the Pacific Ocean to kill herself, but thankfully Craig and Marco save her. I just can't believe it. And then I believe that was when Craig got on drugs, and basically Craig was sent to Calgary. Was it? I don't remember if that was during a movie, but anyway, yeah, he went to Calgary with to be with Joey and his family and all that. I think because Craig was got some issues of the yin yang. So yeah, it was funny, And Paige was upset that Manny was trying to steal her role because Manny and Paige have a rivalry. So basically, Paige tries to do something, but Paige also tries to get Manny the role because Paige realizes that basically she's not fit for the role. But the good news for Paige is that she actually ends up being Jason Mewes, from Jay and Silent Bob with Kevin Smith. Jason Mewes is personal assistant, and she likes it. Basically, she deals with Jason on a good basis, and it's good that Paige found something she liked, being a good personal assistant, someone who cared about her, and all that. And then basically, Degrassi Goes Manhattan was about the New York characters like Holly and Declan and Fiona, Holly J, and all that going to New York and all that. Holly J wanting to stay in New York. If Mary Stays Mary, I can't remember much about that. But the subplot, is about Emma being part of the dot and accidentally burning the dot down. Not literally down, but like burning it up. And then they go to Niagara Falls to cheer Spinner up. They actually end up getting drunk and married and all that. And they don't know if they should stay married. But then they're like, well, what else is new? And basically, Spinner was upset because Jane cheated on him. But when Jane found out that Spinner was married or was going to renew his vows with Emma, she tried desperately to get to Toronto to try to tell Spinner he's making a big mistake. But basically, she's a little too late, and she realizes that Spinner's happy and all that. Poor Jane, I feel for her. Now the question on everyone's lips is, what are these episodes, quote unquote, necessary? In a sense, it's a yes and a no. I mean, no, like, you could bring them back a few years later, like a few seasons later and all that. But I think because there was a problem with CTV and their rights to the Degrassi Next Gen era, then basically things were popping. Because CTV had first, 9 seasons, eight or 9 seasons, and then basically because ratings were declining, they basically sold off to Much Music. That's another Canadian network. Now this is from the Canadian point of view because obviously I'm from Canada, so I know there are a lot of Americans who will watch this. And basically it's not that bad. Teen Nick became the end, and basically you got your rights and all that. But in Canada it was a big issue. And of course a lot of people thought that after 7 seasons Degrassi was going to end with Emma's class for graduation. But basically, the Lakers people were brought in. I think they were brought in so that they can add on a few seasons and all that. So anyway, it was needed in a sense because some closure. I mean, the problem is that Degrassi Goes Hollywood basically had a character assassination of Paige, Craig, and Ellie. It's like, what the hell? Like, leave everything alone. Paige had her problems in season 6 and 7. Craig had his own stuff, and so did Ellie. I mean, like, did we really need their stories to continue? I mean, the whole Manny situation, because, Manny, Liberty, and Emma were in season 8 together and going to college and all that. The college storylines, that's a different kettle of fish. But basically, yeah. But it actually makes a whole lot of sense towards Emma's storyline. Now, hear me out. So in season 9, earlier than I thought it was, Emma basically has that recycle project with Kelly, and then basically Kelly's dad basically said that, Kelly's wasting his time not getting a job for money and all that. And I swear that he basically was upset that Emma seemed to be the boss of Kelly. So Kelly goes back to the Yukon to take a job with his dad's company. Emma's left high and dry. She's upset that she's lost Kelly and all that. And basically during the presentation, she basically is flat. And then she says that basically college isn't for everyone because, 1 second you have your best friends and then the next you lose them and you're trying to make friends. And so so you skip major classes and all that just to try to be friends with people and all that. which is kind of weird in a sense. But basically, it makes sense because Manny got to be in Hollywood as an actress, so Emma, in a sense, lost Manny, and Liberty wasn't there because Liberty went to pre-law somewhere else. And I guess, Liberty didn't want to hang out with Emma. Who would? I mean, like, Emma and Liberty weren't really close friends. And then season 8, they basically were. It's like, what the hell did that come from? I guess, man, I guess it was because of Damien and all that. They bonded over the fact that Damien was scum and all that. And I think Liberty changed universities not to be with Damien because she felt that, she couldn't hurt. She would hurt Emma if she went to the same university as Damien. But I doubt it completely. Kind of stupid, don't you think? But, yeah. So Emma basically was trying to find friends and all that. There's a lot of problem with Emma and friendships and all that. And basically the fact that when she has friendships, she's fine. But when she loses them, she basically becomes a different person. And, a person, they kind of character assassinated Emma in the sense in season 9. But basically, they put Emma to the fact she takes a gap year. She works at the Dot. And she basically makes a mess of it, the Dot. And then basically she tries to cheer up Spinner and all that. It was weird how Emma and Spinner connected. Because we all thought Spinner would be with Paige, or Jane for that matter, and Emma with Sean. I don't think she would be comfortable with any other guy. Emma and Peter would not work out, in my opinion. No sorry, Bob. But basically, when you look at the nitty gritty, is that, it was good for character development for the current people, like who were currently actively on the show in a sense. Like when it goes Manhattan, like Holly J, Fiona, and Declan, it all makes sense about their personalities and all that. And they're still actively on the show. Like I know that Emma wasn't actively on the show as much, so was Manny and Spinner in season 9. But like, yeah, just didn't make sense and all that. They weren't really major in all that. Like Paige wasn't a major part of season 8. Well, Emma and group were, but like Paige and Jay, I don't think were part of season 8. So that's kind of weird. So yeah, I don't agree with the principle of doing those episodes, but basically it was to help a few storylines for the active people. Like, I guess they wanted to end Emma's storyline in season 9 for good. And we didn't hear about Emma or Manny for years. Manny didn't even come back for Throwback Thursday. She was just given a brief mention. That's it. So yeah, so in a sense, it was okay for storytelling, but basically the execution just sucked and character assassinations were afoot. Anyway, I'm Jeff Dine. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.